As we move into this time of prayer and meditation, I invite you to find a centering in your body. A deep breath. Let your muscles loosen. These words are from one of my favorites, Gary Kowalski. Our time is short here on the earth. Around us swirl immensities of time and space, a universe infinite in all directions. How small our hopes and cares seem amid the panorama of creation. Yet we are not separate from the cosmos. We have evolved and grown out of it, like the leaves of a tree or the waves upon a sea. And our thoughts are its thoughts. And our lives, a manifestation of never-ending vitality. Our spirits, a microcosm of the beauty and creativity of the whole. Fill us then with reverence and compassion for all who are our kin. Cloud and sun, sibling and cousin, the multitude of beings who share this improbable and never to be repeated moment. All expressions like ourselves of the mind at large, the spirit at play, the dynamism at large, the dynamism at work, in whom we live and move, and whom we will never know. Please rise as you feel able or willing or interested. For this next song, we celebrate the web of life. It's number 175 in your hymnal. My microphone is off. I think I'm going to do, I have been talking about experimentation, and this is new. We have a lot more time than I thought. And so I think I'm going to tell a story that I didn't really have time for, but I have to find it. Can we do this? I can do this because we are patient, because we are embodying an ethic of imperfection and experimentation, and because I file things in such an organized way. They are findable when I need them. Okay, so this story is not in the order of service, and I have not practiced telling it, but it's interesting. So this is a Yoruba creation story, Yoruba of the people of Western Africa. So one version of their creation story goes like this. In the beginning, all that existed was sky and water. And a supreme being named Olorun ruled the sky above, while the goddess Olokun ruled the water world below. Along with Olorun in the sky, there were also many Orisha. The Orisha were both male and female, but Olorun was neither male nor female, but instead an all-powerful supreme being. Olorun and the Orisha lived around a young baobab tree. Those are those trees that look like they're upside down. They had everything that they needed. But one day, Olorun told the Orisha that the vast sky was theirs to explore. All of the Orisha, though, because they had everything they needed, were content to just explore the sky forever, except for one, Obatala. Obatala, the Orisha, was not content with living around the baobab tree. Like all the other Orisha, he had certain powers that he wanted to put to use. So Obatala looked down below the clouds and the mist in the sky and realized that there was an empty ocean below the sky. Obatala went to Olorun and asked for permission to make something solid in the waters below. That way, there could be dry land for all the creatures to inhabit. Olorun was pleased that Obatala wanted to do something constructive. And so he gave, it gave Obatala permission to create land in the waters below. Obatala then went to his sibling, Orunmila, the oldest son of Olorun. Orunmila was the god of prophecy. And Obatala asked him what he should do to prepare for this mission. The god of prophecy told him that he would need a gold chain long enough for him to reach the waters below, and a snail shell filled with sand, a white hen, a black cat, and a palm nut. Orunmila, the god of prophecy, and the other Orisha helped Obatala find the items that he needed and sent him off on his journey. Obatala hung the chain in the corner of the sky, and he began to climb down. When he climbed halfway down the chain, he realized that he was leaving the world of light and entering a world of twilight. He continued to climb down. And when he got to the end of the chain, he realized that it was still too high for him to jump to his safety. He wondered what to do. And then he heard Owunmila's voice, which told him to use the sand in the snail shell. Obatala did what he was told. He poured the sand into the water below. His brother then instructed him to free the white hen. Again, he did what he was told. The hen landed on the sandy waters below. She began scratching the sand, scattering it all around. Wherever the sand landed, dry land was created. Obatala watched the dry land grow beneath him. And then he decided he could jump down to safety. He named the place where he landed Ife. He saw the land was barren, and so he dug a hole and buried the palm nut into the hole. A tree quickly grew and reached its full height. It grew bark and palm nuts. And with the bark from the trees, he built a house. With the food from the tree, he had food. He then took the black cat from the bag and settled with it as his companion. Some time had passed, and like so many of these gods, Obatala got bored. He decided to make beings like himself who could be his companions. And so he began to make figures out of clay. But again, bored, he got tired. He took a break. He went to the palm tree and tapped some wine. He drank so much of the wine that without realizing it, he got drunk. He continued working on his creations, and when he was done, he had created us. Human, in his image, imperfect, and full of life. There is more. But that's a fun ending for me. So that's the side B story that I was not going to tell because I didn't think we have time. But because again, we are playing with this idea of imperfection. I love the idea of a drunken God who makes us in his image. And here we are, stumbling around in this place, trying to figure out what we're doing. This next story, almost last story, is from the Maori tradition, the indigenous people of New Zealand. And so this one, a retelling by Faye Morganson, is Children of the Dark. At the time before time, there was nothing, not a single thing. Who knows how it happened? Whether it was caused by a spark or a shudder, a breath of wind. But suddenly, the moon rose, the sun shone, and Papa Tunaku, Earth Mother, and Ranjanui, Sky Father, were just revealed. Well, this is where it gets racy. The attraction between Earth Mother and Sky Father was magnetic. Nothing else existed for them. They fell into an embrace that was so close and went on for so long that they had 70 children. They continued to lay in an embrace so close that their children, those child gods, dwelt in darkness. They had no room to play or move or grow. The child gods felt suffocated without space and light. And so they whispered and complained. They plotted and planned. The god of war shouted, okay, maybe you can guess what the god of war shouted. Shocking. The god of war shouted, let's kill Papa Tunaku and Ranjanui. His 69 siblings shouted, no. And they continued to plot and plan. Finally, Tane, the god of forest, spoke. Tane said, let us push our mother and father apart. 68 of the siblings, almost all of them shouted finally, yes! But Teferi, the god of storms, raged in disagreement. 69 against 1. The others ignored him and proceeded with the plan. Rango, the god of plants, pushed up against Sky Father with all of her might, but she could not budge Ranjanui. Then the god of fern roots and wild berries pushed up against Sky Father with all his might, but he could not budge him. Then Tiki, the god of men and women, tried and failed. The god of fish and reptiles was unsuccessful. And so it went. God after God, one after another, was unable to separate Earth Mother and Sky Father. Defeated, they turned to Tane, the god of forests. It was a good idea, but it's impossible. But Tane had an idea. He laid down on the ground, braced himself against Earth Mother, gathered her strength into his shoulders. And then he lifted his legs and pressed them against Sky Father. He pushed, Tane pushed and pushed with all of his might, and then suddenly there was a groan and then a snap. Tane had separated his parents. Tane and 68 of his siblings rejoiced. They leapt and cavorted, celebrating this newfound space and light all around them. Sky Father floated above his wife and was full of sorrow. He cried and continues to cry tears of rain, which only make her more beautiful. And she responds by sending mist up to Sky Father. Meanwhile, those children busied themselves with their work of creating the world. Each god did as they were called to do. Tane decorated his mother with trees and plants with shapes of all sizes. He searched out sparks of light and threw them into the heavens. to decorate his father with stars. The god of storm, who was not happy with this separation planned. He joined his father in the upper realms and lived there still. As you well know, he continues to rage. Sometimes that is just how it is with some people. His rage undoes the work of his siblings, but they continue their work, and he continues his raging. Tane, Rango, Tiki, and all of the other sibling gods go about tending to Mother Earth and dwell here still. To this day, among the Maori people and all New Zealanders, Tane is famous for his forests and for his upright strength, because his feet are rooted in the earth and his head reaches up into the sky. He brings together the best of Earth Mother and Sky Father. May your roots grow deep. May your branches spread far. May you find the world to be a wonderful place, filled with magic and mystery and swirling light and darkness, and leave it better for those who follow. This last song that we'll sing together is number 301 in your hymnal. Touch the earth, reach the sky. Please rise as you feel willing and able. We have one bonus story for you. This is not my retelling. So this I discovered at our recent General Assembly. It was part of the service there, and our tech hosts are pulling it up. It's called Partners.
Before there was anything, there was God, a few angels, and a huge swirling glob of rocks and water with no place to go. The angels asked God, "Why don't you clean up this mess?" So God collected rocks from the huge swirling glob and put them together in clumps and said, "Some of these clumps of rocks will be planets, and some will be stars, and some of these rocks will be just rocks." Then God collected water from the huge swirling glob and put it together in pools of water and said, "Some of these pools of water will be oceans, and some will be clouds, and some of this water will be just water." Then the angel said, "Well, God, it's neater now, but is it finished?" And God answered, "Nope." So on some of the rocks, God placed growing things and creeping things and things that only God knows what they are. And when God had done all this, the angels asked God, "Is the world finished now?" And God answered, "Nope." God made 2 humans from some of the water and stardust and said to them, "I'm tired now. Please finish up the world for me. Really, it's almost done." But the humans said, "We can't finish the world alone. You have the plans and we are too little." "You are big enough," God answered them. "But I agree to this. If you keep trying to finish the world, I will be your partner." The humans asked, "What is a partner?" And God answered, "A partner is someone you work with on a big thing that neither of you can do alone. If you have a partner, it means that you can never give up because your partner is depending on you. On the days you think I am not doing enough, and on the days I think you are not doing enough, even on those days, we are still partners, and we must not stop trying to finish the world." That's the deal. And they all agreed to that deal. Then the angels asked God, "Is the world finished yet?" And God answered, "I don't know. Go ask my partners."
If you are joining us on Zoom, this room will remain open for a few minutes after service for informal conversation. If you're joining us here in the meeting house, we hope you'll stay for some fellowship, some coffee and light refreshments and conversation, either in the fellowship hall or outside in this beautiful creation. And if you are visiting for the first time or the 500,000th time, I don't even know how long that would be. We hope that you find a home here if you find yourself in alignment with our principles and our values and the spirit of this beautiful congregation. Our closing words are by Norman Mailer. Reminded that we are part and participants of the universe. Let us go forth from this hour, encouraged to strive toward faithfulness to the best in ourselves, in others, in the whole of creation. We extinguish our flame with the words in your order of service. We extinguish this flame. This closing song is Dancing in a Dream.